Which minor party would you vote for? Let's have a look. Hello everyone, Florian.heise here, and welcome to another episode of Realpolitik. Grab your stein of coffee. Let's have a talk about which minor party would you vote for. Now, I put this poll on my main channel. We've had over 681 votes, and I asked people, which minor party would you vote for? And please share in the comments why. Is this your first time planning to vote for a minor? Now, we've got United, and I put these in no order, but I put the ones that are more, let's say, vocal against the restrictions and inhibiting our freedom here in Australia. At the moment, you've got the United Australia Party, then the Liberal Democrats, and then One Nation. Then finally I added the New Liberals as well, and other. So 27% said the UAP, 20% said the Liberal Democrats, 34% said One Nation, 4% said the New Liberals, and 16% said other. So the majority of the people, the viewers of the channel, picked One Nation, which isn't entirely surprising because, Pauline Hanson's channel comes up as one viewer's watch. So there are obviously some fans of One Nation. And I mean, all of these parties have good policies. All of them have terrible policies, at least from my perspective. Some of them ideologically I don't agree with. No party's going to be perfect, everyone. None is going to be, all the solution. You get these diehard, rusted on Liberal or Labour guys that will think they're the God's saviour for all of us. Everyone just voted Liberal, Australia would be a utopia. Or if everyone just voted Labour, there'd be no problems at all. Or if everyone voted Greens, we'd all be dead. But still, this is what they're hoping for. So let's have a look at some of the viewer comments, because what I will do is go through the policies of these parties. And also, really, we need to encourage people to use their preferences. I would love it, honestly, if we had a mixed grab bag of minor parties in the House of Representatives that the major parties, one of the major parties, would require to form a coalition with in order to have power. That's the outcome I would like to see. There's no way one of these minor ones is going to get power at the next election. That's not going to happen. They don't have enough of a presence. The Greens are the only ones that are even close, and they've only got a few House of Rep seats. So let's have a look. So Nishan is saying, best thing to do is put the incumbent major party last. That way, even if they win, their victory margin will be lower. Okay, Matthew is saying, the 5 or so parties on your list need to form a coalition if they're to have a realistic chance of battling the incumbents. Well, we have seen the Liberal Democrats and the United Australia Party do a preference swap. Now, that really, it means that the piece of paper that they hand out to you will recommend that you put UAP after the Liberal Democrats. That's all it is. And you may not think, for most people, for some people that won't make any difference. It won't actually influence your vote. But for about 5% of people, that affects their vote on the day. Okay, it actually makes a big, and that's enough to swing a seat. There's never been a better time to put Liberal, Labour, Nationals, and Greens at the bottom of your ballot paper. Advanced Dad, he wants to end two-party politics and put the major parties last. Yes. Free Thought Domain. Even though I voted Campbell Newman out of state government, I have more mature views of politics now. I will preference the other minor parties and put the Libs and Labour last. No, I voted Lib Dem at this last state election. Okay, he did. Or they did. Free Thought did. David, Labour last, Greens second last, Libs third last. Then anyone else, the major parties, I'm done with them. So there are going to be some people that are over it, that are over the big ones. Sonia, Lib Dems, not sure they could run a country, but their principles in personal freedoms and rights to privacy resonate with me. It would be great to have some libertarians in the lower house. That's what I think too. It would be great to have, I would love to see some libertarians, I'd love to see some One Nation, I'd love to see some United Australia Party in the lower house. Just a mix of people in the House of Reps. Haven't decided yet between UAP and One Nation. I typically vote One Nation from Rach. It's going to depend who our candidates are. I think I will decide then. Advancing Australia, One Nation, have obvious support and runs on the board. That's true. I mean, they've been around for a long time. Regardless of what you think about Pauline Hanson. It's funny, many people have this perception that they're an extreme right-wing party, but when you listen to some of their policies, they're not that out there, guys. Some of the extreme right-wing nutters, I think they were frustrated with One Nation as they, what are they, sovereign nationalists? I'd have to have a look. So put them first, and your other pre-offered options second. Alistair, One Nation, they actually approach the community and listen. Lib Dems, because less bells and whistles. Funding, I guess, but better economic theory. One Nation here long before the COVID scam. All of these parties, except the only new party is Clive's party, UAP, pretty much. I would love to see all these parties united, or at least don't fight over the same bone. The New Liberals from Common Ground. I know I'll cop a lot of flack for posting that here, but they're fairly genuine people with great forward-thinking policies. You will cop some flack. And, I mean, honestly, it would be good to have some New Liberal people in the House as well. Do you want a mix of ideas? I mean, if Steve Keen was a senator and he was putting other policies on the table in the Senate, that would be a good thing. You may not agree with everything he's putting forward, but you want debate. You want at least these ideas to get out in the public so people will question it. So, yeah, we'll have to look at some of their policies. Herbert, Liberal Democrats are the only ones that have a full suite of policies, not just COVID-related hype. There are deeper issues at stake. Look at the party's policies and forget ideology. Think critically and reason for the long term, not just short-term feel-goods. That's the problem. A lot of people love their short-term feel-goods. Labour, LNP and Greens last, then the minor parties will vote GAP if they have a candidate. Sick and tired of the major parties. Well, plant-based, why don't you run? If GAP doesn't have a candidate in your electorate, step up and run. At the very least, you'll give people that option. It may help, hopefully, it'll send a message to your representative in the House of Reps within the main parties going, well, look at how much they got. I'd suggest that. Give it a shot. Are we putting Clive Palmer number 1, Pauline 2, and Labour last? From Anonymous. DL, haven't made up my mind. All I know is I won't be voting LNP, Labour or Greens. SDB, the legalised weed party. It's always one. Bass, Liberators, the Reason Party. They're the most evidence science-based party I've come across. Well, if you have a look at their performance in the Victorian Upper House, that's questionable. There we go. Victoria Patterson sold out Victoria. Yeah, have a look at their track record. Shooters and Fishers from Alex. Do some research, I suggest. Just another bunch of comments. Yeah, they are pretty interventionist. We looked at some of their policies here. Putting Labour and Libs last, Pauline is a gem. From Nico. Whatever minor party runs in my safe seat, I'll put the major parties last. And Ricardo Bossi from Australia One. 20-year LNP voter, now One Nation. From Ben. JJ Sparrows, I'll be voting for NBP party. Do they exist in Australia? I don't think they're actually running. Australia One. Let's vote out the duopoly. It's academic. Yeah, well, it's to discuss because there'll be someone that will watch this video or another video or will talk to someone or will maybe suggest, do you understand how preferences work? Or who are you putting forward? I've had family members who are politically active take a political interest and didn't quite understand preferences. Even if the minor party doesn't win, if you can get them above that 3%, then they can get funding. And it can help offset some of the costs for running in a seat. Steve isn't voting for any of them. A party that doesn't contain career politicians, good luck. The parties listed, and those that aren't, are as bad as each other. Karen, I noticed the Greens isn't an option. Okay. I told him we're all adults here. Nothing more cozy than an echo chamber. Well, you got the New Liberals, mate. They're pretty left. Look at some of their policies. I mean, you don't want... I wouldn't suggest anyone who has an interest in the let's see, economic prosperity of Australia, vote for the Greens. Simply based on some of their policies and the inconsistencies between their policies. That's just my opinion. But have a look at what they're saying. So, Heather isn't thinking about it at the moment. Willie will be voting for freedom. Liberal Democrats all the way. Nope. Ricardo, A1. Legalized marijuana party. I mean, come on, guys. Yeah, okay. You know, if they make it legal, it's going to get more expensive. They're going to tax it then. Okay? It will get more expensive. So just think about that. I mean, go ahead if you want to do it. You know, legalize it, tax the shit out of it. It'll be 50% tax. Yeah. The extra, and then the farming is more expensive. I talked to farmers, it's just not worth doing it anyway. The extraterrestrial party, Citizens Party, come on. Don't you follow Martin North from One Ant Silver? I don't like some of the Citizens Party policies, honestly, but we'll have a look at some of their suggestions, guys. We'll definitely go through them, but I don't think they're going to get many votes, to be honest. They don't have a presence. All of the above. The Flux Party, that's an interesting one. I mean, they've got some pretty interesting ideas with regard to democracy. I don't think Australia is ready for it. Another one to look at, Australia One. I can't vote for who I like because they preference Liberals, unfortunately. Now, I asked if they understand. It doesn't matter. I'd really like someone with new, fresh ideas and some new vision. There's just no one you can trust, any of them, so I'm not even sure yet. Yeah, that's the issue. It's. I mean, here's the thing. For some of the politicians, by the time they get into the House, you know, try and fight up policies, it's almost too late. The fight has to happen before it even gets there because it just sails through the bureaucracy. That's the biggest thing. That's one advantage of the Liberal Democrats. Smaller government as an ideological position. You know, just cull the bureaucrats. I'll be voting for the first time. Sick of Lib and Labor. Want to see change? Not sure if anything will actually change, though. It will, but it'll take time. James is Sustainable Australia and Australia One. Okay? I'm not a fan of some of the Sustainable Australia policies with regards to population growth. I don't think it's smart long term. We're barely at replacement population birthing rates now anyway. So guys, there we have it. And a little bit of insight into the parties that you're thinking of voting for. Let's have a bit of a talk. What I plan to do in the run-up to this election is to actually look at the policies of these parties. We've done it before. Probably will do it as a live stream, actually. It might be worth doing it. Looking at one party at a time. If you have any suggestions of parties that you want me to look at, let me know in the comments below. We'll probably look at every single one. There's a lot of political parties. There's too many political parties in Australia, to be honest. And the fear is that the vote will get diluted for people who are opposing authoritarianism, and people won't use their preferences. We saw it. I did an interview here. We had an election in my seat, and one of the candidates, the only business candidate, was for the IMOP party, and they had, informed consent for medical procedures party. And the candidate, she was telling me that a lot of the people their supporters had never voted. They didn't know how to vote. So there you go. That's an issue there as well. So guys, I will actually point you to that interview I did. Unfortunately, she didn't get up. It would, who won? We had a career politician. There you go. That's it, career Labor politician. But check out that interview to see a normal person who ran for politics. Take care. I'll see you next time.